Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Brajadananjana Yashodanandana Brajadananjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari O Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari Hey Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Brajadananjana Hey Yashodanandana Brajadananjana Oh Yashodanandana Brajadananjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari Hey Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Brajadananjana Oh Yashodanandana Brajadananjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jaya Radha Kala Chanji Radha Kala Chanji Radhe Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Thank you. Thank you. Jishajuna, can you give me my shloka book by Jai Hari? Thank you. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 7. Oh, you want to do those? Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 7, text, I'm not sure, 20 something? Where do we start? Okay. So how do we do it again? We just read the English for now? So then on the other verses? On the other verses we just do the English?
Depends on you. So like this.
Okay. Okay, so maybe we can all read the English. I'll start off and then we can read the verses, just the English. So after creating the total material energy, the Mahatattva, and thereby manifesting the gigantic universal form with senses and sense organs, the Supreme Lord entered within it.
The Purusha incarnation lying on the causal ocean is called the origin of Purusha in the material creations. And in his Virat form, in whom all the planets and their inhabitants live, he has many thousands of legs and hands.
O great Brahmana, you have told me that the gigantic Virat form and his senses, sense objects and 10 kinds of life exist with 3 kinds of life vigor. Now, if you will kindly explain to me the different powers of the specific divisions.
Oh my Lord, I think that the process manifest in the forms of sons, grandsons, and family members has spread all over the universe in different varieties and species.
O learned Brahmana, please describe how the leader of all the demigods, namely Prajapati, Brahma, decided to establish the various manus, the heads of the ages. Please describe the manus also, and please describe the descendants of those manus.
O son of Mitra, kindly describe how the planets are situated above the earth, as well as underneath it, and also please mention their measurement as well as that of the earthly planets.
Also, please describe the living beings under different classifications: subhumans, humans, those born of the embryo, those born of perspiration, those who are twice born, birds, and the plants and vegetables. Kindly describe their generations and subdivisions also.
Please also describe the incarnations of the material modes of nature, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, and please describe the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his magnanimous activities.
O great sage, kindly describe the divisions and orders of human society in terms of symptoms, behavior, and characteristics of mental equilibrium and sense control. Also, please describe the births of great sages and the categorical division of Vedas.
Please also describe the expansions of different sacrifices and the paths of mystic powers, analytical study of knowledge, and devotional service, all with their respective regulations.
Please also describe the imperfections and contradictions of the faithless atheists, the situation of crossbreeding, and the movement of the living entities in various species of life according to their particular modes of nature in the world.
You may also describe the non-contradictory causes of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and salvation, and also the different means of livelihood and different process of law and order as mentioned in the revealed scriptures.
Please also explain the regulations for offering respects to the forefathers, the creation of the Pitraloka, the time schedule in the planets, stars, and luminaries, and their respective situations.
Please also describe the fruitive results of charity and penance and of digging reservoirs of water. Please describe the situation of persons who are away from home and also the duty of a man in an awkward position.
O sinless one, because the personality of Godhead, the controller of all living entities, is the father of all religion, and all those who are candidates for religious activities, how he can be completely satisfied.
O best among the Brahmanas, those who are spiritual masters are very kind to the needy. They are always kind to their followers, disciples, and sons, and without being asked by them, the spiritual master describes all that is knowledge.
Please describe how many dissolutions there are for the elements of material nature, and who survives after the dissolutions to serve the Lord while he is asleep.
What are the truths regarding the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What are their identities? What are the specific values and the knowledge in the Vedas? And what are the necessities for the spiritual master and his disciples?
Spotless devotees of the Lord have mentioned the source of such knowledge. How could one have knowledge of devotional service and detachment without the help of such devotees?
My dear sage, I have put all these questions before you with a view to knowing the pastimes of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the friend of all, so kindly describe them for all those who have lost their vision.
O spotless one, your answers to all these questions will grant immunity from all material miseries. Such charity is greater than all Vedic charities, sacrifices, penances, etc.
Sri Sukadev Goswami said, thus the chief of the sages, who was always enthusiastic about describing the topics regarding the personality of Godhead, began to narrate the descriptive explanations of the Puranas, being so infused by Vidura. He was very much enlivened by speaking on the transcendental activities of the Lord.
Okay, so we'll go back to the verse that we'll focus on. We can read the Sanskrit. Anuvritanam shishanam putranam cha dvijotama anaprishtam api bruhur Guravo Dinavatsalaha. Please chant. Let's do the word for words together. Anuvrattanam, the followers. Shishanam, of the disciples. Putranam, of the sons. Cha, also. Dvija uttama, O best among the brahmanas. Anaprishtam, that which is not asked for. Api, in spite of. Bruhu, please describe. Guravaha, the spiritual masters. Dinavatsalaha, who are kind to the needy. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. O best among the brahmanas, those who are spiritual masters are very kind to the needy. They are always kind to their followers, disciples and sons, and without being asked by them, the spiritual master describes all that is knowledgeable. Purport. There are many subjects to be known from the bona fide spiritual master. The followers, disciples, and sons are all on one level for the bona fide spiritual master. And he is always kind to them and always speaks to them on transcendental subjects. Even though he is not asked by them, that is the nature of the bona fide spiritual master. Vidura appealed to Maitreya Muni to speak on subjects about which he might not have asked. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Om Tat Sat. So how many of us remember something that Vidura asked? You can just contemplate in your own mind for now. Sorry. Just to get some momentum. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, just think about it in your mind. We won't like call on each person because it's already 8:08. No, it's good. I heard a Vyas Puja offering to Srila Prabhupada by His Holiness Prahladananda Swami. And he said, when you're reading, read one paragraph and then stop and recollect. Think, what do you remember? What sank in? And if nothing comes to mind, then read it over. Because that's the point of hearing, right? Is to get some nuggets, something to contemplate. Not just that we hear but we don't listen. I'm speaking to myself also. So it was very detailed, right? He was asking, please describe so many different things, even the size of the planets. Please tell me about all the different misconceptions of atheistic philosophy. Please explain vegetables. Did you hear that one? I was like, oh, okay. He wants to. It seems kind of like, nitpicky in a sense. Like, why do you want to talk about so many different things? Just talk about a lot of times devotees just want to hear about Krishna's Ras Leela or Krishna's pastimes, right? But actually, when you love somebody, you want to know all about that person, right? Everything they do fascinates you. So, aham sarvasya prabhavo, mata sarvam pravartate. Everything spiritual and material emanates from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So all of the cosmic creation in its gigantic, universal scale, and even in its minute, down to the, atoms, is the energy of the Lord. And a devotee is fascinated by how did Krishna do it, right? It's like, when you like somebody, you like the way they brush their hair, the way they walk, the way they eat, every little detail. Just like one time devotees were explaining, Prabhupada would drink from a cup, right? Drink a loda, and they were fascinated how he would, how you drink without touching it to your lips. So they were like, wow. And then I remember hearing one time Prabhupada was shaving, and he asked his servant, Shrutikirti, Prabhu, he said, he looked at the razor, he was like, Gillette? And Shrutikirti said, oh no, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada just flicked the razor blade, and it landed perfectly on the window, the sill to the mirror, and it was simply bogus. And when I heard it, I was like, that's so cool. That would have been like an amazing Gillette commercial, if you see the Hare Krishna shaving and the way he did it so perfectly. So the idea is that when you love someone, there's that saying that love is attention to the details. So the more absorbed we are in love of Krishna, the more fascinated we are about everything that of the personality. So Krishna has unlimited qualities, unlimited pastimes, and here Vidura is fascinated. He's asking Maitreya, how did Krishna specifically create the universe? How did he break down the divisions of social orders? How did, what's the nature of this and that? And so that's what came to mind when I heard that. So a devotee is fascinated by everything about Krishna. And the more absorbed we are in wanting to hear about Krishna, then the more that attraction comes about. What's that shloka? Is Shushu Sho Shodadanasya Vasudeva Kata Ruchi. So that Vasudeva Kata Ruchi, the Ruchi, you get a taste for hearing, right? When you serve great souls. So you can hear about the great souls, and then you can also get an attraction to become absorbed in devotional service. And you can also serve those devotees and get an attraction for hearing about Krishna. So it's like, it's like they say, Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prashadi Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. That when one becomes Bhagyavan, when one becomes fortunate, that we're all souls looking for Krishna and wandering through the different universes and planets, and we're always looking for that bliss, that peace, that satisfaction, and basically that's Krishna. So one who becomes fortunate, Krishna gives them the association of a devotee, of a pure devotee. And when they get that association, then that devotee gives them Krishna. So it's like, the teamwork of the guru and the devotees and Krishna. Krishna is giving you the guru is giving you Krishna. And like it says in this verse, that the devotees, the spiritual master is ready to give so much information that we can't, process it all. Basically, it takes a lifetime or more to process all that Prabhupada's given us, right? Prabhupada's given us Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Bhagavad Gita, so many other books. Just like I heard one lecture, Prabhupada was saying, so how many verses? There are 9,000 verses. Then how many, even if you read 2 verses a day, you can't complete. So he's given us, Prabhupada's given us then Prabhupada's letters, Prabhupada's morning walks, Prabhupada's classes. That's all been by modern technology archived, right? How many of you listen to Prabhupada's lectures? It's so nectarian, right? So, it's such a blessing that we can hear the sound vibration of the pure devotee. Actually, there's that one beautifully poetic verse that says that the words, that the vibration emanating from the pure devotee is so transcendental because it's strewn with the saffron dust particles of the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. Oh, and I read that. Do you know where that is, anybody? It's in the Bhagavatam somewhere. So yeah, can you check it out? Drishtajumna? If you want to, just for looking it up later, all of us. Yeah, so it said that the vibration, sometimes Prabhupada would be giving lectures in Hindi, not so often, and the devotees, the Western devotees, would go do other services. And Prabhupada said, no, you should sit down. The vibration itself is purifying, even you don't understand, right? Because the pure devotee is just talking unlimitedly about Krishna, and that vibration has its effect. I was thinking, like this verse is saying, that the spiritual master just gives knowledge whether you want to hear it or not, right? I mean, not whether, but still there's sensitivity. Like Prabhupada, somebody brought Prabhupada a new person up to his room to hear about Krishna consciousness, and Prabhupada started, so, you are not the body, you are not American, you are not Indian, you are not man, you are not woman, you're the soul, the spirit. And started preaching or sharing philosophy. And then he looked in the person wasn't philosophically or intellectually situated, so he realized, so he told his servant, he said, go get my harmonium. And the servant brought the harmonium and he chanted a bhajan for him and then gave him some prasadam and said, Hare Krishna. So it's absolute, right? How we share Krishna consciousness is a science, and it's a matter of sensitivity. We don't just ramble off things when people aren't listening. But we have to see, is that there is receptivity, right? So then that also, according to time, place, and circumstance, right? A devotee will change their presentation. It's like Prabhupada knew exactly, okay, now it's time, at a certain phase of the movement, book distribution was emphasized. I mean, it's always emphasized, but then in certain places they said, oh, actually you should do prasadam, because it's absolute. Everything in devotional service is on the absolute platform, just like Prabhupada has said, that the person who's sweeping in the street, in the temple room, cleaning the temple room, they're non-different than the pujari who's offering the food, offering the artik. So then also everything about Krishna consciousness is also absolute. Whether you hear a kirtan, you hear the holy names, or you hear the philosophy, or you take prasad, it has the same effect, right? It awakens our desire to want to hear. It awakens our desire to want to love and serve Krishna. Just like one example, there was this book distributor, and he went up to some person and he was like, yeah, we're showing these books to all the nice people. The book talks about reincarnation, karma, God, the soul. He started to give a little presentation. And then the person was looking at him, looked at the book, and he was like, cauliflower? Deep fried? Dipped in some tomato sauce? And the devotee realized, oh, this person has had a pakora prasadam, and he's making the connection. So then the devotee was just like, exactly. And then the person was like, I'll take it. It's like, pulled out his wallet. So that's the idea, is that Krishna is all attractive, right? And that he is coming at us from all angles. He's coming to us through our tongue, through prasadam. He's coming into our heart through our ears, through the Mahamantra. He's coming through our nostrils when we smell the incense or we smell flowers offered to the deities. He's coming into our eyes through his merciful form as the deity. And he's coming to our mind also by his fascinating philosophy, by his pastimes. So he's attracting us by all these different sensory activities. And then the soul will reawaken its ecstasy in wanting to love and serve him more and more, because that's what Krishna's Rasa Raj, right? The reservoir of all pleasure, or the king of loving exchanges. So that's just like what he does, is he's wanting to exchange love with everybody, because everybody is his intimate lover, intimate part and parcel, intimate servant. So Krishna is wanting to inundate all of us more and more. And the main way in Kali Yuga is the hearing, right? The hearing, Shravanam, just like the verse is talking about. The spiritual master, out of compassion, they give Shabda Brahman, spiritual sound. And it's explained just like you watering the seed, with water, and that seed sprouts and then grows into a plant, and the plant grows and then grows flowers, then grows fruits, grows, and the whole thing, the whole time you're watering. So the process of reawakening our dormant love for Krishna is to keep watering the soul by hearing, like Vaisheshika Prabhu likes to say, keep the vibration going. So this watering process of our Bhakti Lata Bij, you guys heard that phrase before? The Bij is a seed. the seed of devotion. To water it is to continually hear and chant. And then our devotional creeper, our devotional plant grows and penetrates the material universe, and we go on hearing and chanting. We go on hearing and chanting. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Shmaranam. That when we hear and we chant, we remember that that's the, goal of the soul is not just that we're hearing the pastimes, but like I liked in Prabhupada Priya's class on Julan Yatra the first day, she said, why do we like to hear these like pastimes? Because there are pastimes. And I like that. That was so, poignant. Is that we're hearing about Radha and Krishna, but we're part of Radha and Krishna. We're in that pastime in ultimate reality. So we're hearing about our service in a, Gopi Bhartur Padakamala or Das Das Anudas. We're hearing about the reality of our relationship with Krishna. And the more we hear, and the more lovingly we hear, then the more that tree of devotion grows fruits, the fruits of love of Godhead. And then you can share. You can always share, but it's explained that Prabhupada tells a story that one mother brought their child to a yogi, or sometimes they say Gandhi, and said, can you tell my child to stop eating sweets? And the person said, oh, come back in 3 days. And then the mother brought the child back after 3 days and said, okay, and then the person said, stop eating sweets. And then the mother said, why did I have to wait 3 days? You could have said that 3 days ago. He said, oh, because I hadn't stopped eating sweets. So I felt there would be more potency that if I stopped eating sweets and then said it after 3 days. So we're all saying the same thing, right? We're saying what Prabhupada said, but according to our level of realization, it has a different effect. So the more we get absorbed in hearing and chanting, the more it has a spiritual effect, just like Lord Chaitanya, so much so that even you don't have to speak. If one sees a pure devotee, just seeing them, all sins fly away. Can you imagine the one time in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, they were asking, how do you know a devotee? Oh, a devotee is if you see them chanting Hare Krishna, right? And then the other, it got like higher and higher. The highest level is that when you see them, you chant Hare Krishna. So here we're talking about the spiritual master always gives that spiritual vibration. But even on another level, the devotee who's very absorbed in loving Krishna, when anyone sees them, they chant. So that's the thing. Prabhupada gave Krishna to all of us and gave us that treasure of love of Godhead to share with everybody. And it's a joyful process in chanting and dancing and feasting. So just a few thoughts, if there's some reflections or Trishta Jumna.
I really liked one of the points you made. I remember I read this section a while ago, and I was reading what's the duty of a man in an awkward position, and the vegetables thing, and the size of the planets. I'm like, this just seems kind of like fluff, like a waste of time even. Like why go through asking this? But you made such a nice point about the details of how Krishna works. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it just came to my mind. Because sometimes, that occurs to me too. Like some chapters you're hearing, this person is the son of this person, who's the son of that person, who's the... And then I was thinking, should I just skip? And then at the end it's anybody who reads this chapter with attention gets love of God. And I was like, wow! And then it's fascinating too. Then you I started, my wife's reading the Mahabharata out loud at night with the family, and then okay, so who's his father? Oh, he's Krishna's cousin. It's like when you love somebody, oh, what's their family like? Who's close to them? You're interested. Yes, Prabhupada Priya.
just reminded me that, you know, in the 9th canto, there's a lot of those genealogies. So when I was doing Bhaktivedanta, we were reading through it, and then it was like, you don't know the names. Maybe you know a name here, a name there, but then as it gets further progresses, it's like, oh, wait a minute. This is like, it's leading to the appearance of Krishna, basically. So, you know, you're getting into, you know, Krishna's great-grandfather, and there's Yadu, and you're like, oh, the Yadavas. Krishna's born in the Yadu dynasty. And there's descendant of Yadu. And then you're learning, like, oh, why is it that the Yadus were cursed that they couldn't become kings? You hear the whole story there. So it's all, like, leading up to Krishna. So pretty much all the genealogies in the Bhagavatam, there's some incarnation that's coming. You know, so it's like there's some connection with Krishna. It's like Prabhupada says in relation to Kurukshetra. He says, we don't care about Kurukshetra. Why would we care about some random battlefield? We only care about it because Krishna had a pastime there, you know? Otherwise, we don't care about any of these things. But because Krishna had his pastime there, Krishna's connected with that place, then it becomes like, wow, I want to know all about it.
Yeah, and then extends to his devotees. If a devotee is connected there, then it becomes spiritually attractive also. Gokulananda?
Thank you for the wonderful class. So, you're talking about attention to details. I just remember what Radhana Swami mentioned once. There is principle and there is the other aspect, details. So one category of the people, they are very much into following just the principles. For example, eating is the principle, but details could be, varying from time, place, and situation. What we eat differs. Like in India, we eat something, and you might be eating something in China different. So one category of the people may be expert in just adhering to the principles, neglecting the people. And the other extreme is, just following details and neglecting the principle. Like Smarthas, many of the Indians were expert, karmakandis. They're into details, just neglecting the principle. So Maharaj said there has to be equilibrium, balance, and both are important. So principle along with.
Thank you. Any last point? So thank you for your association. Srimad Bhagavatam ki.